Om Bhaja Govindam chanting verses 21 to 25.
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे रथ्याचर्पटविरचितग्रन्थः पुण्या पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेव कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुतायातः कामे जननी को मे तातः इति परिभावय सर्वमसारं विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम् त्वयि मयि चान्यत्रैको विष्णुः व्यर्थं कुप्यसि मय्यसहिष्णुः भवसमचित्तः सर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिराद्यदि विष्णु त्वम् शत्रौ मित्रे पुत्रे बन्धौ मा कुरु यत्नं विग्रहसन्धौ सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्यात्मानं सर्वत्रोत्सृज भेदाज्ञानम्
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करमावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति Every effect of action is a combination of two factors. One is the effort. Apart from effort, there are so many uncontrollable factors, imperceptible factors influence the result. Not always that my effort alone produces the result. I may be driving the car properly, but the person who is on the opposite direction, if suddenly if his tire goes flat, bursts, and he loses control and he hits my car, I can't do anything. You see, he's too close. I don't have time for me to maneuver and move out, or I don't have time for me to apply brake and escape the accident. Now, the accident did not happen because of me. The accident happened in spite of me. Then why it happened at that particular time? If we see, many times during this rainy season, the trees fall off. See, just about 2 meters this side, the car is parked. It could have fallen this side. Instead of falling in this way, it has fallen the other way. So my car escaped. If it has fallen there and it is broken, now I can't do anything about it. It is not in my control. There are so many factors which is not in our control. Like in the neighboring state, they said all the students, whoever has written 10th standard exam, passed. All pass this exam. Now, there are two sets of students. One group of students were rejoicing by the decision. Another set of students who are cursing the state for taking such a irrational decision. Why? Because he studied, and every one of them is going to get 55 marks. He says, no, this is not the way to go about. Now, is it in my control, sir? No, it's not in my control. So remember, any success, any effect, any fruit is always influenced by very many. That is where prayer comes into picture. Now, why do we do this prayer, sir? We pray, we humble ourselves in front of all those factors, and collectively representing all those factors is what we call as God. God is the one who is controlling those uncontrollable factors. So therefore, he says what? Kindly ensure. One. Two, even when I'm putting my effort, there are so many obstacles which can come on the way. Try to remove those obstacles, because if I keep working on removing the obstacles, where is a time for me to work on this? You know, like in this movie, Mudalvan, climax, the fellow would ask the hero, the villain, see, if I'm going to be constantly thinking, what is the opposition leader going to do? What sort of a problem he is going to trigger? All the time, if I have to be thinking in terms of that, where is a time for me to work with reference to how to develop the state? In fact, many of these ministers and IAS officers, they say that about 70% of our time gets spent on administrative things, not developmental. Just to run the routine. The routines takes 70% of my time. Now, if 70% of my energy is going to be spent on this, where I'm going to work with reference to the development. So therefore, we say what? We surrender. Therefore, we pray to that and say, kindly protect me from those factors. Two. Third one, when it comes to the spiritual growth, realization, we understand that any amount of effort that I'm going to put in is finite. It cannot bring about that infinite effect of realization. So therefore, with your grace, grant me that realization. Not because I worked on it, because any amount of effort I put in is not going to be equating to realization, but moksha. And that's what Shankara says. Murari, save me through your grace. Kripaya pahe pari murare. Save me through your grace. Now, why do you need to invoke the grace of the Lord? We invoke the grace in the beginning itself. For what? To understand all these things. I know it is not my effort that is going to bring about the result, but still, I'll do my part. I know that the effect of any activity that I'm going to engage in, whether it is spiritual, mundane, or spiritual, doesn't make a difference. Either case, the result is always influenced by so many factors over which I don't have any control. That so many factors can be including my past karma also. I don't know what sort of karma I have done in the past. So nothing I know of. but I still continue to put in my effort. That I am not going to stop. I am not going to deter from that. However, I know the effect of my effort is always comes with the mixture of these uncontrollable factors. So therefore, he seeks the Lord's grace. Grant me your grace. Through your grace, let me grow. Through your grace, protect me. Through your grace, grant me this success, whether it is the spiritual path or the materialistic path. Doesn't make a difference. Either case, we do ask that. And that's what he is asking. And in 22 verse, this is 21 verse. Verse 22, he further explained what is the state of this man of perfection. After reaching that state of realization, what is going to be happening to him? What is that state? He's explaining. And he gives what is that he is doing. What is he? Through that, we understand certain things. So the first one he explained is what is his material. He just maintains the minimum. That's it. Now, minimum can be anything. It depends on the person. So there is no standard rule that we have. Okay. You can't say minimum means everybody should have, 2 pairs of clothes. No. There could be a person whose minimum requirement is 300 pairs. There's no rule as such. Okay. But that doesn't mean, you have to go with, designer clothes. It's not necessary. As a person who has already attained, you can do anything. Doesn't make any difference. That's what we will see in this verse 22, where he's explaining, various aspects. That's why before he goes into those things, first thing he gives is this idea. Pratyachar pata virachita panta. What he's just going to keep minimum. Remember that. Don't forget this aspect. Why? Not because he needs that. He can afford to have anything. He can become like Digambara, like Mahavira also. Whether you be like Osho or you be like Mahavira doesn't make any difference. For whom? For those people. But as a seeker, when you see this, it is better to follow Mahavira than Osho. You see, that is where for most of us, Osho became a reference point today. I assume all those people have attained the same state of enlightenment. That's not the problem of mine. Right? Whether he attained or he has not attained is not my issue at all. If you have to follow that person, you are not going to follow the personality. You are going to follow the teachings. When you come to the teachings, you are in trouble. Yes, Mahavira's teachings can be followed. Osho's teaching cannot be followed. Mahavira's lifestyle is very difficult to imitate. Your greed will say Osho's lifestyle is correct. You see, why? Because you are already having the weakness for materialistic luxuries and comforts of life. Now here is a powerful master who comes and says nothing wrong in it. And he lived his life also like that. What will happen to you? You will say what? This is exactly what I also want. I want somebody to vouch that my greed is correct. My materialism is correct. Now here is a man who says, yes, go ahead for that. It will not help you, please. That's why he gives this first. And then he comes to the philosophy, the principle. The principle he comes to is, now what is his action? How does a spiritual man function? His actions would be devoid of punya or apunya. Apunya means papa, non punya. Punya, apunya, vivarchita panta. Panta means path. Varjitam is rejecting, leaving. Vivarjitam means well left. Punya, merit. Apunya, demerit. So what is this spiritual, what sort of a lifestyle, what sort of a path that he leads? His actions, all his actions would be without accruing either punya or papa. That is his path. From there we get a clue that spiritual path means what, sir? Neither good nor bad actions. Good actions you do, you get punya. Bad actions you do, you get papa. What is the logic of it? We will see. Okay. Because remember, this punya and papa you can't see. They are not perceptible. They were known as adrishtapala. Every effort, every action will produce a result. That we don't have to worry about. That is very simple to know in the physical world. Thanks to Newton. Every action has an equivalent and opposite reaction. Correct. There is no problem you have on that. If you have any problem, don't ask me. Ask your physics teacher. They will explain. Don't send a question to me. Mahesh. Mahesh will send a question. Sir, can you explain what is action reaction? You know, don't ask me all that. Ask your physics teacher. Right. Yes. Third law of Newton. Yes. Correct. Now, what these people talk about is totally different. Now, to explain the perceptible, we don't require the Shastras. You don't require the Vedas. We don't require these masters to tell us you should take bath every day. Brush your teeth. Now, whenever you are hungry, you eat. You don't require Shankara, you don't require Christ, you don't require, Krishna to come and tell you, whenever you are you feel hungry, eat. Whenever you are thirsty, drink water. Whenever you are feeling sleepy, sleep. Now, you don't require anybody to come and tell you all that, isn't it? But for what these people come into picture, sir, they come to tell us something which is not obvious, something which is not perceptible. So, remember the principle. What we know is this. I do an action, there is a result. Effort, effect. I plant a mango seed, I get a mango tree. I plant a coconut seed, I get a coconut tree. I exercise, I am fit. I am not exercising, I am not fit. Simple. Right. I am able to speak the language. Why? Because I had studied that language. I'm not able to speak the language. Why? Because I have not studied the language. Simple. Cause, effect. Cause, effect. Now, suddenly these people say, for whatever action that you are doing, you also get something called punya and papa, which is also a result. In the scriptures, when they discuss about the phalam, fruit, they don't consider what is the perceptible one. They discuss in terms of the imperceptible. Now, immediately we ask the question, how do you know there is a thing called punya and papa exist? These people simply talk. Now, remember, it's not just, they just give a idea. There is a reasoning behind it. Follow this carefully. Okay. That's why it's better to speak in person, these things. But however, we don't have an option now. So you just have to, stay glued to the idea for at least for another 2-3 minutes. That's all. After that, you can do whatever you want. Okay. For 2-3 minutes, pay attention carefully. Action I do, result I get. As the action, so the result. Correct. Whatever the action is, that is how the result will be. This is the law. Now, every action is performed by me with a particular intention which is imperceptible, isn't it? I do an action. Every action you can see. Action is visible. Whereas intention is not visible. What is the attitude with which I am doing the action? That is not visible. What is the purpose with which I am doing the action? Which is what we generally call as intention. So, action is perceptible. In that action, there is an imperceptible dimension called intention. This side. Now you come to the other side, effect side. If you come, this action has produced this result. Perceptible action produces a perceptible result. Correct. Now the question comes is, they say, if perceptible action produces a perceptible result, what about the imperceptible intention? Physical action produces physical result. Then intention also should have an impact. No, this side. How is it possible that intention is not having any say in this side? Now, if this is imperceptible, there has to be an imperceptible effect also. Only then the law is correct. Otherwise, the law of action and reaction needs to be clarified again. Needs to be challenged again. Now, you can't challenge it now, because that is established beyond a point. That is why it is called as law of action and reaction. Laws of motion. You say no. Why? Because it has been established. Now we can't challenge it. Now to challenge that looks only what? Looks you are ignorant of that. That's all. You can still challenge it. But it has no meaning. See, if there is an imperceptible intention behind the action, there has to be an imperceptible effect also behind the perceptible effect. That imperceptible effect is what they call as punya and papa, depending upon two intention possibilities here. My intentions were classified under two categories. This is what a layman would call as good and bad. Little philosophical person will call as selfish, unselfish. My selfish intention also you cannot see. Unselfish intention also you cannot see, but it is there. If I function with a selfish intention, then corresponding to this side, there has to be on this side. What is that, sir? That becomes papa. Selfish, intentional actions will produce result, perceptible result, plus imperceptible papa. Unselfish intention plus action will produce perceptible result, which is what we call as the fruit effect, plus that imperceptible punya, merit. This is the basic understanding. Now comes the twist. Now comes the real jolt. This man who is functioning in the world, who is performing actions, how, sir? Without punya or papa means he is neither having selfish intention or unselfish intention. Neither selfish desires prompting him to do the action produces papa. Unselfish desires prompting you to do the actions produces punya. He is neither developing punya nor develops papa. Means he is neither performing actions propelled by selfish desires or unselfish desires. So neither selfishness nor unselfishness. Beautiful one. That's catch. He is performing, then what sort of action he is performing then? Roundabout way of saying, why don't you say that directly? Very easy. If he says directly, it's very simple. When I say that directly, you'll say that, that's all he said. You see? Then what is he doing, sir? He performs his obligatory actions. That's all. What is this actions he is performing, sir? Obligations. Now, this is where our problem will be. We also use the same word. What? I am doing my duty. He is also doing duty. Now, you can't understand. That is why he is going roundabout. What does it say? No punya, no papa. Which means what? No selfish, no unselfish action. No selfish desires prompted actions, nor unselfish desires prompting the action. Neither this nor that. Then what is he doing? That's where it gets really interesting. Then comes your analysis of, okay, what is that selfless action then? Now, before you can go to selfless action, you need to understand what is unselfish action. What is the problem with a man who is performing selfless action? You see, selfishness means simple. Means when I perform an action, my focus is, or my primary focus is on what I get out of it. Anything you do, doesn't matter what you do. We don't care what action. You see, we are not discussing about what action, what field you are acting. No. The focus is what is that I am going to get out of it. When I say I am going to get out of it, what is that my body, my mind, my intellect is going to gain in this? My pleasures, my joys, my delights. That's all I'm interested in. If something is going to be engaging and entertaining to me intellectually, I will do it. Just the joy of it. That's all. I'm not saying it is wrong. Okay. That's not the point. The point is what? The focus is only on what I get out of it. That's it. I do an action. I go through a perception. Anything I perform in the world, my focus is primarily on what I get out of it. When I say what I get out of it, side effects are a lot for that. Now I'm not going into that aspect. What all will happen if you are selfish and all that. That's not the focus now. Then there is another attitude. The second attitude is, in any action that I perform, my focus is more in terms of what is that others will benefit. What is the benefit for someone else other than my body, my mind, my intellect? Okay. Selfish, unselfish in a very simple format, easiest format to understand. The primary focus is selfish desires, selfish intention. Means focus is what do I get out of it. I in the sense the little self. What is the little self is going to gain? Selfish. Unselfish is what others gain out of this action. The focus is on what others will be getting, not in terms of what I get out of it. Selfless person is who's a selfless action means neither this nor that. He is neither focusing on what I gain, me, nor you. Neither me nor you. That is called selfless action. Selfish action. What is in it for me? I don't care about you. Selfish. Unselfish. What is in it for you? I don't care about me. Unselfish. It doesn't matter who and what and all those things. Selfless is what, sir? Neither me nor you. Don't say focus is on you and me. Many people take selfless to mean both, sir. It should be beneficial to you, also beneficial to me. No, that is not selfless. Selfless is what? Neither. Neither you nor me. Now, forget about you practicing. You will not know what to do if you have a man like that next to you. You know. You will not know how to live with that man. Remember, very complicated he is. We can't deal with him. You can't deal with a selfless man. Unselfish man you can deal with, very easy. All that you have to do is what? Unselfish man is what, sir? Unselfishness means I draw a circle. Selfish means no circle, only one point. You see, that is selfish. One point, that fellow. That point is me. Wherever I go, whatever I do, focus is what? What do I get out of it? What is in it for me? That's it. Then he is selfish. Unselfish means he includes you also. Includes you means numbers. Number game will start. When I say me, there's only one. Advaita is achieved. How do you achieve, sir? Advaita. Extreme selfish you go. Advaita achieved. There's no problem. Why? Only me. Nothing else, or else you have to go this side. That's why in the Puranas, in the Bhakti Lakshana, when they are explaining different forms of Bhakti, they give one form of Bhakti called Virodha Bhakti. You see, as Sakhi they take, as Dasa they take, as Mitra they take. You see, each one have their own, like Mirabai had the bhavana of Sakhi, right? This Gopi and all, Gopis and all had that attitude, right? Prahalada had the attitude of child, right? Jnana Sambandha and all had that attitude of, father, son. That's the relationship. Hanuman had that attitude of a servant. Sugriva had the attitude of what? Friend, Saka. You see, friend his. Uddhava had the Saka attitude. Arjuna had that Saka attitude. That is, that is one group of people. Very interestingly, they say, in the list of bhaktas, they include Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa. All these people get added, Ravana and all added in the list. See, Seshupala, Seshupala and all got Vaikunta, you know that. You go to Vaikunta, you will meet Seshupala this side, Hiranyakashipu that side will be sitting next to you. You will be wondering, hey, why they say that? Because what did they do, sir? Extreme virodha with God. So, in the dream also, Kamsa was getting only Krishna coming. He has never met Krishna. Right? This fellow, even in the dreams, he is getting midnight, he will wake up. He'll scream, That's what Ravana was doing. Come what may, I will not leave, Seshupala, all those fellows, hate them, go to other extreme. So selfish means what, sir? Only me, that's it. Nobody. The moment I say you, then it's a question of circle. You see, you means what? That's why unselfishness we define based on the number of beneficiaries. From this action, how many people are going to get the benefit? More the number, greater is my identification. So my identification comes to is what? Not only me. Now suddenly I say what? I include my wife, my child. Beneficiaries are who? I have one wife, one child. Right? Only one we could afford. Dasarada supposed to have had 60,000. You see, Krishna could not meet. Krishna is only 16. A lot of people quote Krishna. I say Krishna, ordinary fellow. Dasarada much better. That is why Rama could afford to have only one. Why? Because he had seen what happened to his father. See, more than one you have, you are in trouble. He said what? Only one. And then he got bored with that in the next avatar. He said, multiple. Doesn't make a difference. That is the problem. Earlier, only me. Now my focus is what? Two. Who that? My wife, my child. If I have two, it becomes 3 kids. 3 of them. And then if I can include my parents also, then it will become 5. If I can include my brother, sister, then it will become 15. If I can include my relatives also, then it will become what? 40, 50. If I can include my friends also, it can go to few hundreds. If I can include my entire community, the test is this. You can't say, that's the case means everybody is unselfish. No. There are certain qualifications for that. qualification is this: you do something, you make a choice. When I make this choice, I lose to the gain of the circle. I undergo certain discomforts for the comforts of my circle. Only then I can be called as unselfish. Okay. Otherwise not. Imagine if there is a conflict between my comfort versus my family's comfort, which one you choose will tell whether you are selfish or unselfish. Whether it is my community or my family, right? My family comfort or community comfort. If I go for community comfort, family discomfort, I still say what? It's okay. I will go for community comfort. Let the family go through the problem. Doesn't matter. That is called unselfish. Don't say, I'm working for community means immediately you become unselfish, please. No, no, no. By itself, it will not be. How we identify is through this. You say, the requirement is this. Now, this man, he is not having any circles like that. Now, imagine you are having an unselfish person. You have a selfish person, there is unselfish person. You know how to deal with these two fellows. All that you have to do is what? If you want to be the beneficiary, all that you have to do is what? Get into that circle. So imagine that I am an unselfish person. Okay. My circle is what? My circle is those who are attending Vedanta class. Only my Vedanta class. Okay. Not any Vedanta class. Okay. Only it should be my Vedanta class you should attend. Nobody else Vedanta class you should attend. Right. That is my circle. Now, if you are outside that circle, how I will deal with you is very different from how I will deal with you if you are inside that circle. Correct? Now, all that you have to inquire is what? Am I inside the circle or outside the circle? If I'm outside, no problem. If I'm inside, no problem, sir. Outside only he will pounce on me. So all that I have to do is what? Log into the class, switch off the video, so that I can tell him what? Hey, I'm there. You come and sit in the class, then what? Ishwaran is such a nice fellow to you. Right? If you are outside, Ishwaran will become a terror to you. Right? He will not like you anymore. You are attending my class, I love. Why? That is my circle. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Okay, don't go out and say this is what he is saying and all that, please. I'm just giving an example to explain what is the difficulty in selflessness. Okay, if I'm a selfish person also, it is very easy. You will know what? How to deal with this guy. What? Because if he is going to get the benefit, he will be good to you. If he is not going to get the benefit, he will be nasty with you. Full stop. Either he will be nasty with reference to you or he will become indifferent towards you. Only three chances. Either he will do good to you, or he will be nasty, or he is indifferent. He would not care. Now, if he has something to gain from you, so if you see a selfish fellow, all that you have to ensure is what? Keep giving him that impression that you have something to offer to him. Keep supplying, keep supplying, keep supplying. More and more you keep supplying, he will be good to you. So there is no problem. You can deal with him. Whether you are capable of giving that and all is a different equation. Okay, I'm just giving theoretically, you can understand him. Okay, this is what I have to do with him. Whether you are capable of doing, whether you want to do, should you do, that's not my point. You can understand. That's how you got to deal with him. Same way, if you see an unselfish person, what you have to do, sir, your effort is only one thing. What? Get into that circle. That's all. All that you have to do is what? Get into the circle. And then he will have concentrated circles. So one is what? You are just attending the class. That's about it. More than that, you're not doing anything. You simply come sit in the class and go back. Good. So you come little closer. What does it mean? I'm only explaining, huh? Okay. Don't get me wrong. This is the danger, explaining these concepts are very dangerous. You see? Very easy to misunderstand. But in between also I'll give certain clues. You people have to know the difference. Okay. You are not only attending the class, promptly you are giving Guru Dakshina also. That circle is what now? There is one fellow who is simply attending the class. Another person is every third of a month, Guru Dakshina is getting credited. Ping, message comes. Hey, wow, good. Then what is it, sir? Not only that, one more step the person comes. What is it, sir? They call and inquire. Ishwaran, do you like this sweet? Do you like this fruits? Do you want to have that? Do you want to have this? I said, okay, send it across. Right. Now this person comes more closer. You see that? Every step, that circle is going to be what, sir? So how you have to deal with me, sir? All that you have to do is what? Be there, come here, come here. As you are coming closer and closer and closer, the way I will deal with you will be different, isn't it? Because that concentrated circles is what we all have. Now come to this guy, you will not know what to do with him. Because he will look so unjustful. Because you don't come to class, same. You come to class, same. You come and give Guru Dakshina, same. And the person, more than all those things, they put in so much of effort, make something and bring all the way. I remember one girl, came about 35, 40 kilometers. She traveled just to give that sweet and go back. I said, you must be mad, I said. That bhavana is a very beautiful attitude. That's a different thing. I say, you come all the way from 40 kilometers, you don't drive. Come in this time. I don't know how many police stopped her in between. This girl comes all the way to give and then goes back. She will get the same treatment as the person who is no connection to Vedanta. Imagine how you will feel. See, always in life, what is it, sir? It is reciprocational, no? Everything that we do in life is done based on reciprocation, isn't it? That's what every wife has a complaint about husband. One complaint, you can take it for universal complaint. What is it, sir? Cooking. How much ever I cook, he will never appreciate. He will never appreciate. Now, you go on doing same treatment. And the same treatment given to the person who is not only this, talking ill about Vedanta itself, let's say. Now, how can you give the same treatment to both? if you were to be treated like that, what will happen? Imagine, in the organization where you are working, you work or you don't work, same treatment only you will get, same promotion, same thing. What will happen? It will become like government office. No, it has to be based on what, sir? If I do more, I should be getting more also. That is why very difficult to find a spiritual man. We think, spiritual path is, yeah, good to be. If you are always smiling, he is smiling means you are spiritual. One look at your face, how on earth someone can laugh, I don't know. You'll get disgusted only. That's what Swamiji used to say. Swamiji, photograph, you're looking one way, but in the class, why are you frowning all the time? So many people asked. Swamiji is looking, frowning all the time, angry. But you're looking so smiling. Why I don't look at you? He looks at you. That's the mistake of us. After looking at you, that's what he would say. When I look at you, how do you expect me to laugh? Pathetic condition. It's like a fellow, you go to ICU, tubes all over the body he has, and we don't know whether he is going to survive for another 10 minutes or not. At that time, you look at him and say, smilingly, take him to emergency ward. In emergency ward, doctors cannot be smiling. He sees the whole world in the emergency condition. All ICU cases. Yeah, how on earth he can be? How do you deal with him? The unselfish person, to deal itself is so difficult. Forget about you becoming. Now he is talking about how you become that. Dealing itself is so complicated. How do people get benefited in the presence of a guru, liberated person, if he always does selfless action? Correct. Now, what is the benefit? How does people get the benefit of it? Beautiful question. In fact, I didn't intend to touch upon this point, but good that he raised it. See, the service rendered by a spiritual master, remember this, is not their speaking, their writings. That's not the primary service of this. The primary service of them is when he becomes selfless. That is possible because of he dropped his individuality, his ego. Not arrogance. Don't take it ego to mean arrogance, please. That's not what is referred philosophically. Ego philosophically means the sense of individuality. I am. That sense of me and mine, that is called ego. Since he has completely liquidated that, when you go to his presence, there is no necessity for you to carry ego. You see that? See, that ego of yours will be existing only if the other exists. Remember this. If the other is not there, where is your ego? Imagine in entire Bangalore, you are the only human being. Okay. Will you go to this register office and say, I want to register this flat in my name? Will you put? Why you don't give all that? Why you don't have to say all these things? You are the only human. you don't have to claim anything as mine. You can never claim ego. That individual will never have ego. Then why are you carrying ego today, sir? Because there is another human. Because there is another ego. Since the other is existing, your ego comes to surface. Automatic that is. The moment other ceases to exist, there is no ego. It's very interesting, isn't it? From where it comes. The presence of the other triggers ego in me. If the other doesn't exist, my ego will not have a role to play at all. Therefore, it will disappear. Now, a spiritual person means master. A spiritual master's service is he has given up, he has sacrificed his ego. That sacrifice person, when he is sitting, you go to his presence. For the first time in your life, you would taste a peculiar phenomenon. What is it, sir? No necessity for me to carry the burden of ego. For the first time, you will feel there's no need for me to carry this burden. Put down. When you put down there and then pick it up again, is a time you recognize the weight. You see, what is a service rendered by the spiritual guru? Guru service is not to give guidance. Guru service is not to teach Vedanta or any philosophy place. That's not their primary thing. That's all incidental. You see, just to keep you in that presence for a longer period of time. That's about it. It's just a pretense. But essentially, what should happen, sir? What happens is, in the presence of such a personality, a selfless being, there is no necessity for you to carry your ego. For the first time, you feel egoless. Only then you recognize how burdensome it is to carry ego. Otherwise, you will not even understand. You won't even recognize how burdensome it is. Unnecessarily you are carrying it. Now you need to put it down and still stay, no, isn't it? The problem is you have started carrying that ego for a long period of time, started believing that necessity of the ego to be standing for you to exist. You are not able to understand that there is no need for me to carry that ego for my existence. For the social transactions, yes, you carry it. Doesn't matter. But whenever you don't want it, you should be able to put down. See, I don't need it means you should be able to put down. The problem today we have is we have started using that for transactional purpose, and now it has become a necessity. I can't do away with my ego. That's called samsara. Now, such a person should get a taste of what's a possibility that for me to feel my existence, there is no necessity of this thing called ego. I can drop it and still exist, intact. No loss for me at all. Where are you going to get that experience? When will you get that experience, sir? Only in the presence of a selfless man you will get that experience. That is his benefit. That is the service he renders. That is the greatest sacrifice that he has done. What is it, sir? He has liquidated his ego. He sacrifices that ego. See, it's easy to sacrifice anything. To sacrifice that ego is the height of everything. To give up things is not a big problem. To give up that ego is such a difficult thing to do. And a great act of such achievement he has done. That achievement is called spiritual. How do you get there, sir? Selfless action. Become selfless. That selflessness is called spiritual, not unselfish. Unselfish is a stepping stone to selfless. That is correct. But unselfishness is not spiritual. That's how we distinguish between ethics, morality, religion, and philosophy. That's what Vivekananda says. When religion dies, ethics born. What is ethics? He says ethics is nothing but morality is nothing but the dead carcass of religion. Is dead. When religion dies, morality is born. Today we are talking about morality everywhere. Why? Religion is not existing. And we think, the tragedy is, we think a spiritual person to be highly selfish. That's the tragedy. Why? Because in our equation, we know only two things: selfish, unselfish. Either a person has to be unselfish or he has to be selfish. Now, this man is treating everybody same. That means what? Everybody gets equal share. Everybody gets the equal treatment. Everybody he views the same way. Everybody he meets in the same angle. Then a driver as well as a managing director were to be given that same attention. Obviously, we'll think what? Something weird about this fellow. He's not normal. And Shankara confirms that in the verse by saying, what is he, sir? He gives two examples. He is like what, sir? Balon Mattavat says. He is like Bala and he is like Unmatta. That Vat is very, very important word here. He is like a child. He is like a madman. Don't say he is child. He's not a child. He is childlike. He is like a madman. What is the child? Child means there are two things. In fact, there are three things they say. They define a spiritual man. One they give is Balavat. Another one he gives this is Unmattavat. Then the third one they say Pishashavat. He's like ghost. You say. Weird, explanation. Who is a spiritual man, sir? Put these three things together. That is a spiritual man. What? He is like a child. He is like a madman. He is like a ghost. Each one they give two different dimensions because of two reasons. Remember, these are all comparisons. See, in a comparison, there are few dimensions we compare. That's all. Not every aspect, please. There's a particular aspect is compared. Don't say it's like this way. Like standard example we give. My beloved's face is like a moon. You can't ask pimple face. It's not like that. Please. Means what? It is so cool. Which is not. But to my eyes, it will look like that. Look like that for some time at least. And then what's it? Moon, there are few things in nature. You can go on looking at it. You'll never get bored. See, the sun you can't keep on looking at. You'll get, you will get pain. More you look at it, you'll get pain. Sun. But moon is not like that. More you look, more you will feel like looking. Like, this ocean, the waves. Go near the the beach. Go and sit there. Same thing is happening. What is it? Waves come and splash and go back. Waves come, hit, go back. Wave come, go, come. Same thing happening. But you will never get bored. There are few things in life. You will not get bored. Like that elephant. Also, you will not get bored looking at an elephant. Hours together, you can keep on looking. Monkeys, you can't do that. You can't keep looking at a monkey more than 2-3 minutes. You get giddiness. He's jumping all over. It's like, you get giddiness there. Elephant, you can go on looking at it. There are certain things like that. My beloved's face is also like that. I can go on looking. I will not get bored. That's what it means. You can't say every 15 days blackout. Say, beloved's face like a moon. 15 days blackout. Comparison. Comparison means a few points that compare. That's it. Not every aspect, please. Similarly, this is a comparison. There are few aspects they compare. This child means what's a child doesn't live in the past or future. It lives in the present. The child doesn't have a past. Yesterday you said that no and all, child will not fight. They'll fight with the fellow furiously previous day. And next day you see they'll be playing together. They won't remember all those things. Child. They don't care about future also. What will happen? If I get coronavirus, what will happen? And all that, they don't care. They keep playing. You see, they don't worry about all those things. There is no future, no past. They live in the present. Similarly, the spiritual man also neither has a past or future. He lives in the present. No worries of the past, no anxiety over the future. He's not anxious about what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. Nor he is constantly brooding on why this happened, why that happened, what is this, why. That means what? Old man. Older you go, you will keep on talking about your. In our days, that means what? You have gone old. That's it. So, when I go to the academy, they ask, what about, I said, don't ask me the question because I feel old if I start talking, in your times, how was academy? I said, in our times, academy was worst. Now it is better. So don't ask me that question. Old, that time, past. Or constantly thinking in with reference to future, never in the present. Child lives in the present. Similarly, this man also lives in the present. Since the child is living in the present, the child has tremendous energy. The child is full of energy, so enthusiastic, bubbling, full of energy and enthusiasm. 94, he is still so energetic. Now, I don't know where, I don't know whether we will survive till 94, first of all. Even if we survive, I don't know whether we will be able to stand and talk also. We'll go. Man, so much of, cheer, energy. From where it is coming, no clue we have. See, there's so much of energy there. About few years back in Bombay, he had to go for his regular, medical checkup. So he went to that, this medical checkup. When they go, they put all the things, the one and treadmill, they say walk. And this fellow put the things on him and they said, he said, walk, sorry. And he started walking. Walking was done. And then, he said, oh, you seem to have some problem in your energy. He said, why? Because you're not able to walk. You're supposed to cover that much of distance. You only told me to walk, therefore I walked. You should have told me to jog, I would have jogged. That man didn't understand him. He said, Yeah. Then, Jal, who went along with him, that doctor, he said, you come this side, I will tell him what to do. and we switched on the treadmill, and he was jogging. 15 minutes he was jogging, and that man said, "Stop, stop, enough, enough, enough." He said, "Till I get tired, you should listen." He said, "Sir, others are waiting for the treadmill. 15 minutes jogging, and he came down, the steps, walking. Hey, peculiar fellows. Yeah. You got to see that. Only then you understand. Otherwise, very difficult to even recognize. For a person to go for, when he went for the surgery, he walked to the theater. They said, "No, you are not allowed to walk. You cannot. Nothing doing. I will walk." Anyway, coming back, I don't know whether I will be able to walk after that. He said, "At least now let me walk." He said. Surgery, to go for a surgery walking is too much. What is it? See, these things don't, you don't get it by your, what is it? That enthusiasm, that energy has to be there. From where it comes, you got to be like a child, a childlike personality. Have that enthusiasm, that energy. It will be there. It will be bubbly in your life. There will be no morose and all the time. You like anytime you may drop dead. Like there's nothing till your death. Like Ramtirtha says, you should die with the boots on. That's what this man did. Yes, Socrates. He took that poison. Poison sophistication was not there like these days. It's unsophisticated poison. Will take a lot of time to work on the body. So he asked him, how this thing works. No, if you are walking, it will work faster. And he started walking. Right. I want to die walking. How will it be? He said, have you ever thought of that? He said, can you think of someone who says, I like to die walking. As I'm walking, I should die. That's what Ramtita says. You should die with the boots on. That's called energy, enthusiasm to live life. Otherwise, I'm waiting for people, as far as people I meet. They say, வீடு போகுது காடு வாங்குது. The house people are saying get lost. In the Yama there, in the forest, the crematorium is calling, please come, I embrace you. Please come. Says, welcoming there. No. Till that last breath, it goes. You go in that cheer, that enthusiasm. That enthusiasm and energy is what is referred here as Balavat. Don't say he is, child. He's a childish. It's not childishness, please. It is childlikeness. Means no past, no future. No worries of the past, no anxiety for the future. Lives in the present. Point number one. Point number two. He has so much of energy and enthusiasm to live life. Two. I'll meet you in the next class.